Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the ICE Project. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A show. Before we start, this podcast is brought to you by KYTRs. KYTRs, the best accounting in the game here in Sydney. I've been with Danny for a couple of years now, see him as a mentor, not only as an accountant. Actually, funny story, first time I met him, I was looking for a new accountant and I go, I actually don't want to be friends with my accountant. Now we're very good friends. I use him as a mentor, like I said, in business. But if you ever need accounting and I feel like you do need it, if you want to start a business or you want to grow a business, really important as well. Also, the Inner Circle is my private group that I've got online courses. If you get any value out of anything that I've ever tweeted or posted on Instagram, any value out of any of these podcasts, this is the level up from it. There's currently 75 videos in there right now. I'll put the blueprint in there as well. That's going to be all loaded up by this week. I've got Jackson working on that. So there's going to be 90 videos within the Inner Circle. It's $60 a month. You can cancel whenever you want. So let me know. Everyone that's in it seems to love it. I talk about a bunch of different things about why I'm against real estate, my thought patterns on money, how we built KYTR and the business itself. $60 a month, jump in. All right, this is going to be a Q&A podcast. Reach out on Instagram if you're not following me on Instagram at IICE. We will be doing these once a week as well. So roughly got about 50 questions here. I'm going to split them across 2 episodes. But let's get rolling. Let's get into it. It's good to be back. Question number 1. I have a warehouse job and full-time at uni. Is it worth quitting my job to double down on business? Really great question, and it's a question I probably get asked the most across multiple different platforms. When should I leave? Like for me, I'm just going to speak from personal experience. I don't want you guys to live and die off everything I say here right now. I could easily just go, quit and double down on business. That's just not smart. What's your living circumstances? Are you living at home for free? Do you have rent to pay? Do you have bills to pay? Do you have kids to feed? I'm saying you're at uni, so I'm saying probably not, but I wouldn't unless I had roughly about a year to a year and a half's worth of savings. And if you're in a position where you can live with your parents, that'd be great. And you might just have to have that conversation with your parents and sit down and go, hey mom, like this is my dream. This is what I want to do. I'm zoned in on business right now. I could work a job late at night, but I just can't have a full time if I want to focus on this. And I really want to zone in on this as well. So if you've got an understanding parents and they'll allow you to do that, if not, you're just going to have to save up some money where you can allow yourself to do it. If not, you're going to still have to work a full-time job. And then when you get home from your job and you've got your uni assignments to do, you're going to find some time to try and scale a business as well. So there's many different ways you can do this, but I'm not too sure the right answer for you. But if I was you, I'd be trying to save as much as I can. And I had to do that as well. So I'm no exception to the rule. Question number 2, do you ever think it's harder to scale a newer business or one that's already thriving, and why? Really great question, and there's no right answer to this as well. So starting a new business is really hard. If you don't have a following, you're going to have to try and create your own following and create your own branding, and you've never been in business before, so you have to learn all these lessons. And I always say the hardest thing about business is like you can't really read about it, or you have to kind of go through it. There's some lessons in life that you have to go through, and one of them's like what it's like to be on an empty stomach, what it's like to have no money, what it's like to have your heart broken or anything like that. Same things in business. Like you can read about these, but it's not till you actually go through the experiences of business and the lessons it has to teach you that you can sort of really, really learn on. So hard thing about a new business is no one knows about you. Your product's not tested. You haven't had any sales yet. So it's hard to scale that up. And usually at the start of a business, you don't make too much money. And I was very similar. We didn't make too much money at the start, but I kind of just stuck at it and kept going and kept going. The next part is scaling up a business that's already going well, and that's the position we're in right now. And trying to get from A to B, it's a completely different conversation as well. You've actually got something to lose. I've got 8 staff that I need to look after, and 8 staff that I need to figure out how to pay. I've got invoices that I need to pay. I'm trying to scale this business up as well, and you need more money come into a system. So different types of stresses. But both have their challenges as well. So starting a business is hard. Don't get me wrong. Like it looks easy, but it's not. And scaling a business is just as hard as well. You've actually got something to lose. You've got staff members. You've got something that's already built. But to scale a business, you actually have to have more money come into the business so you can buy more stuff to scale up. So that's the position we're in right now. And it's still hard. And if you see me right now, I'm zoned in. I'm doing these like little 10 to 11 hour days. I'm focusing because I want to try and make this business a bigger business. So both hard, no right answer. Next question. What is your biggest limitation as a leader? For me, just the way we've built YKTR, we've kind of been friendly in terms of hiring. So my biggest limitation for me right now is trying to find that balance between boss and friend, and sometimes I gravitate towards the friend side a little bit too more, and you have to have a lot of tough conversations with your friends as well, saying like, yo, this isn't good enough, that's kind of the biggest boundary that I'm really struggling with at the moment as well. The other part of it as well, I think I'm very spread out. So we got, say, like the ICE projects here, we've got Dice Digital running, got YKTR, which is a scaling business. We've got YKTR Sports, which is growth business. Right now, probably my limitations is I've spread myself out a little bit too thin, and I'm not really sort of super focused or zoned in on the places where I need to be. So these are the two lessons that I've learned, and I think they're my biggest limitations as a leader. Next question. How much money do you need to start a clothing line? We started with $5,000 each, so $15K. You could start with less, you could start with more. You just have to bootstrap it up a little bit more, but that's how much we started with. So yeah, you can start with whatever you want. Obviously, when you learn about business a little bit more, the more money you have, the better you can cash flow it. So what I mean by cash flowing it, the hard thing about clothing is you have to try and plan for future stock, which is about 6 months ahead. You have to try and market your current stock, and then you have to try and get rid of existing stock as well. So where businesses get caught up, and this is where we've been caught up in the past, is if you're sitting on too much stock and you can't get the sales, it really starts to mess up your cash flow. So when you're starting a new clothing business, I suggest to start really, really small. We started with 10 hoodies, 10 tees or 20 tees, and we just went to 50 to 100, and then we try and scale slowly, and that way you don't mess up your cash. So sometimes like someone will go, all right, I've got 20K to spend, I'm going to buy 20K's worth of clothes. They haven't done their marketing, they haven't done their branding or anything like that. So when they launch the market and no one knows who they are, you're sitting on 20K worth of stock that can't be sold. Basically, they end your business. So most businesses go out of business because they run out of cash, and that's how it is. So you probably could start a clothing brand for $1,000 in my opinion. Start 10, 20 tees and try and sell them and try and build slowly from there. Same path that we took. I know it doesn't sound fucking fun, but it is what it is. You gotta crawl before you walk is the same. When do you know you need to change your branding and logo? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. We tinkered around with a bunch of different logos early on till we found our one that we got now, the YKTR one. I just looked at it and I felt like this is a brand I could build for a long time. And it was something I heard Virgil say one time. He used to have a brand called Pyrex. And what he said with this was, he goes, I didn't feel comfortable seeing myself at 40 years old, sitting at a table saying I ran a brand called Pyrex. So I feel like branding and logo is really important, and I want to try and build a brand that lasts as long as possible. So when I chose a logo, I just wanted something like basic and strong and bold and kind of unisex as well. And the logo that we got now kind of just stuck out to me at the time. So very early on, we had a couple of different logos that we were playing around with, but I just wanted something solid and basic. And if you look at a lot of the biggest brands around the world, they've all got pretty much basic fonts. I think what you do after your branding and logo is a lot more important than the logo itself. So stick to a solid, basic logo or branding, and then what you do after that is way more important. Thoughts on crypto at the moment? Yeah, I've never publicly really talked about crypto too much. I kind of post stuff on Instagram. I never wanted to be the crypto guy. I learned this from my lesson from sports cards, where I was heavy into sports cards, made some money on it, then kind of dipped out, kind of lost interest in it. I just kind of gravitated towards other things and brought a lot of people into this space as well. And then I moved towards crypto, and I've been talking about crypto a little bit with my friends. No one's really listening. But right now, what I'm doing with crypto, I'm not paying attention too much to the markets. I know it's sort of been fluctuating. If I do that, my emotions start to ride with that. You don't want to be emotional when it comes to money. All I'm doing is trying to build really cool businesses, get disposable income and dollar cost average into crypto. So that's what I'm focusing on right now, trying to build YKTR, trying to build YKTR Sports, focusing on some personal projects that I've got going on, and building multiple revenue streams, and then transferring disposable income that I don't need to see in 10 years into the market and just letting it sit there. I'm not really trying to flip NFTs or anything like that. Kind of been low key on the NFT market as well. You see me early on, I was super hyped. I feel like the market's really starting to regulate now. So all those kind of those quick cash schemes are trying to weed itself out. And I think the NFT space is going to move to a really exciting spot where it can actually make a change as well. So paying attention to crypto and NFT, but not right into it, not riding the emotions or not riding the emotions of the market or anything like that. Best business investment you've made for YKTR. My best business investment that I've made is into my own brain. And obviously I've been big on reading books and podcasts and taking seminars over the years. And I just actually love it. And the way that you get smarter is by hanging around smarter people or listening to smarter people or going to online seminars or going to actual seminars back in the day when COVID wasn't a thing. And whenever you spend money on your brain and you get the return on investment on that, that's the best thing you can do for your business. Spend money on your brain, level up, and then pass that knowledge down to staff. Staff's always going to be a great investment, good investment or bad investment. Both realities exist, but the best business investment I've ever made is into my own brain and personal investment as well. What would be one thing you'd advise young people who want to get into owning a business? I'd try and test a few different things. I'm not too sure what your passions are. I think it's interesting, or I think it's a great tactic to build a business around a passion, because what happens in business, and especially very early on, and I talked about cash flow a little bit earlier, there's days you'll wake up and you'll be like, this ain't going to work, or you'll have self-doubt, or you realize you've actually got no money in your account. If you're building a business around a passion or something you actually care about, it makes those times a little bit easier. And YKTR hasn't always flowed. Like, even though we've documented the journey, and from a front-facing standpoint, we always look like we're killing it. There's never been the case as well. So there were times we were actually struggling as well. So, but the thought, I just knew I just didn't want to work for anyone else. So that was kind of my main motivation. And I just felt like we had something there. I couldn't explain it. I just felt like we had something there. So I was always keen to try and build that out and grow that out. So my biggest advice for someone trying to start a business is find something you're passionate about. The other one is fail quickly, but just don't fail too big as well. So that's the key one as well. So you don't want to dip your whole life savings into something that's not proven. Start a little business that doesn't cost too much, learn the basics. That might fail. Cool, that's probably progressing to your next one. And just keep trying to fail quickly, but not too expensively. How far ahead do you like to plan business-wise, and how strict are you in sticking to these plans? Great question. With YKTR, we've roughly planned about 4 to 5 months ahead. Realistically, I like to be about 8 months ahead. I've never been 8 months ahead, but we're getting better at planning out. And what I've found in business and in life, whenever you've got systems and you're planned, good things seem to happen. So whenever we've found ourselves struggling within business, or me personally within life, I'm not organized, I'm not planned. Car's messy, house is messy, office is messy, get flustered. Environment's a big thing for me as well. So I like to be planned out. I like to be focused. It goes against how I grew up as a kid. I was always a football player. I was always just free spirit, go with the flow. Things always seem to work out, and they did at the time. But I think within business, planning, structure, and system builds a solid foundation for everyone else to grow. Top 5 in your circle of influence. Realistic, I don't think I have 5 right now. Obviously, mum and dad, they're the ones that help raise me and give you your core set of values growing up. So that's 2 there. Obviously, Gary Vee is always going to be my guy. Then he's not in my circle. But sometimes with mentors and people, they don't need to be. You just need to be, and especially if they're producing content. And sometimes with mentors, you just need to go, oh, that's my guy. He's taught me some things, so focus on that. I've got 2 guys within this office building. They're roughly about 60 years old. Won't say their names. They're really influential on everything I do. I like to sit down and have coffees and pick their brains. So I like hanging around older people. I don't really hang around. I've got my group of friends that I hang around, but I kind of listen to books, podcasts, seminars, and talk to older people. That's kind of my circle of influence right now. Should every business start aligning themselves with blockchain tech? I think you should be paying attention to it. I don't think necessarily we need to be in a rush to do so. Also, in saying that, I also think those who are paying attention and do have capital to invest into these types of things that align with their business are probably going to get the biggest rewards as well. So I don't think it's a hurry up and get in now, but I feel like those who are educating themselves in blockchain technology or anything along those lines, or NFTs or stuff, the first movers advantage, they're going to get the benefits of that as well. So yeah, don't rush. Like in theory, like most of the people I know in and around me don't even own a crypto, don't even know what blockchain technology is, don't own an NFT. So I think we're heading towards that way, and the guys that are in early right now are the ones going to benefit, like I've said. But I think mainstream adoption is coming, but it's not a rush yet. So educate yourself, paying attention to different case studies in and around the world, or like this business is doing it this way, this could work for us. I think that's a really good conversation to have. Just educate yourself. You don't really have to spend money just yet, because you don't want to be spending excess capital into something that's not proven. And like, we could have the nicest shop in the world right now in the physical store, but if no one's coming to it, we're wasting our money. So I sort of see blockchain technology like that. Ideal candidate for YKTR/YKTR Sports. What kind of people are you looking for? Really great question. YKTR Sports, I see us as sort of like a knockabout guys brand. Barstool Sports is a big influence for us. So I think content creators need to have either be entertaining or educational. And if you do the combination of both, I think you got a great mix there. Some people are just great in camera, some people aren't. I'm sitting in our podcast studio right now. This is going to get built out to something better, and then we'll start trying to chase talent and try and hire talent. I'm not too sure what that looks like right now. I don't have the answer for you, but I know when I see it. Sometimes you look at content like, yo, this guy's got it, or this girl's got it. And then sometimes you look at other people's podcasts and they're trying to work for YKTR or YKTR Sports. I'm like, that type of dynamic could work somewhere else, but I don't think that's going to work for us here at YKTR. So paying attention, I think once this is all built out and we've got the systems in place in terms of local production and merch and brand manager that can actually execute, I think it's going to be a really interesting business model to build out. So I'm excited for that. Last two questions. What do you see as YKTR's weaknesses? I love looking for weaknesses and flaws within our business. And I think and I sort of touched on earlier, our biggest weakness right now is, one, I've probably hired a little bit wrong. I've kind of gone to friend friendly. Yeah, that's a word. And the other one is like really cool businesses. Like say we'll focus on YKTR as a clothing side right now. Realistically, I haven't been spending enough time on it for us to go through that next level. And like a lot of people think they work hard, and they might, and compared to what they normally do, that might be working hard. But to get to a certain point in business, say we're at hair, we want to get to hair, it requires different energy, it requires a different level of work ethic. And I don't think I'll be putting in that work ethic for us to go from hair to hair. So realistically, biggest weaknesses is not focusing on the right things at the right time. And in saying that, here's the other side of it. If I only done clothes, like just YKTR, I think I'd get bored. I think, they just wouldn't excite me as much. And nothing against those people, like people that are zoned in on clothes and building great brands, they're doing really well, and that's good for them. Like, congratulations. But for me, I feel like I can do multiple different things. And that's my biggest strength, but it's also my biggest weakness. Like, I just started YKTR Sports out of nowhere, and YKTR, the clothing side, was funding it for a year and a half. And me personally, I was funding it for a year and a half because I just believed in that space, and there was a space for us to grow. And then started Dice Digital, and now that's going all right. Now I do podcasts and make a fuckload of content and shit like that. So I like doing multiple different things at once. I'd get bored if I was just doing the clothing side. But my biggest weakness is not paying attention to the right things at the right time and executing. And I've learned that this year. So if you see me now, I'll be zoned in. I'll be focused. How do you measure success apart from revenue? On a personal standpoint, my big theory in life is the first 5 seconds in the morning, are you excited to get up or are you not? And that's how I measure success. Like, there's times I made like a chunk of money and it's been great, like nothing against that. But my measuring stick in life is like, am I excited to get up or am I not? And that's basically it. In terms of business, how do you measure success apart from revenue? For me, I get a kick out of DMs I get from people. I get people saying that I've helped change their lives. We've had DMs from people that have put themselves into rehab. We've had DMs from people that have contemplated suicide. I've had DMs from people with struggling businesses that somehow have pivoted and now they're in a cash flow positive space as well. For me personally, that's how I really like it, apart from the revenue side. And the other side of it is, like, I get a kick out of seeing staff or anyone within my inner circle that actually know me, that work for YKTR, seeing them grow and seeing them learn things and seeing them make money and stuff as well. So I see that, like, I actually get a bigger kick out of hiring someone that was in a job that they hated and they love coming to work at YKTR and stuff as well. So those are my two things. We measure ourselves on DMs received, on positives. And don't get me wrong, I get plenty of hate as well. I probably get hated on daily about the way I do things, and that's just the balance of life. Like if you're getting compliments, you're going to be getting hate as well. And I don't expect everyone to like me, and I understand that. But DMs are really important to me. They make me feel good, especially when they're positive. And the other side of it, I love seeing people within my circle or staff or whatever you want to call it grow and get better and get smarter and level up and try and build a lifestyle that they love. So I get a kick out of that. All right, guys, that's a wrap on episode number 1. I'm going to be rolling into episode number 2 right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll be wearing the exact same clothes, so don't judge me. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. We'll be doing this a little bit more. Want to join the inner circle? Roughly going to be 90 videos of there. Fucking absolute value. You can watch them whenever you want, so tune in. I'll put a link down below. Thanks, guys. Later.